In this video, we'll talk about settings and recommended best practices for quiz security in Brightspace. Specifically, we'll take a look at the following: shuffling, creating page breaks, preventing students from moving backwards, using the quiz introduction area to remind students about academic integrity, disabling right-click, setting appropriate time limits, and setting appropriate submission views. Note that we'll cover question pools and how they differ from question shuffling in another video. So let's edit a quiz. Specifically, I'm going to take a look at the Unit 8 review quiz. We'll start by looking at some of the settings on the Properties tab. Right now, these 6 questions will appear in the same order for all students. To quickly and easily randomize the order of the questions, we'll click the Shuffle Questions at the Quiz Level checkbox, and then click Save at the bottom. After the screen refreshes, we'll see a shuffled indicator to the left of each question, providing us with visual verification that the questions will appear in random order for each student. To further ensure the security of the quiz questions, we can also add page breaks so that students see only a limited number of questions on each screen, thus making it more difficult for test takers to easily capture a copy of the quiz data. The gray lines between the questions are clickable. Just click on a gray line to add a page break. The line then turns blue to indicate the break, and if we look at the numbers on the left, we'll see that now 3 questions will appear on page 1 and 3 questions will appear on page 2. If you'd rather not make page breaks manually, you can add them automatically by typing a number in the questions per page box and clicking Apply. To manually remove any page break, just click on it to turn it gray again. In addition to creating page breaks, another means of increasing quiz security is to prevent students from moving backwards in the quiz. To apply this setting, click the Prevent Moving Backwards Through Pages checkbox. Another consideration and recommendation is to use the quiz introduction area intentionally as a spot to remind students of expectations and policies regarding the use of notes, websites, and other aids during a quiz. You might even remind students of the academic integrity statement on your course syllabus. Students will see the information you supply in the quiz introduction directly above the Start Quiz button just before they begin the quiz. Below the introduction are some optional advanced properties. If this area isn't already expanded, click on the link to expand these options. The Disable Right-Click option is helpful to select in that it will prevent students from being able to right-click in the quiz window. Why is this a useful option? It prevents students from doing this: right-clicking with their mouse and seeing options to easily save copies of the quiz information on their screen. I'd advise against clicking the next checkbox, however, Disable Pager and Alerts. It doesn't do much to increase the security of your quiz, and, though it doesn't say so on screen, it prevents students from accessing Brightspace email during a quiz. This is problematic if students encounter an issue during a quiz and attempt to email you. Next, let's visit the Restrictions tab and take a look at the timing options. While you cannot set specific time limits per question, you can choose the Enforce Time Limit option and then set a reasonable time limit. For example, if your quiz contains 20 questions and you expect students to spend no more than 1 minute answering each question, then it would be appropriate to set a time limit of 20 minutes. The grace period is adjustable but cannot be set to 0. In conjunction with the time limit, if you set the option to prevent the student from making further changes, students will be unable to continue answering any more questions when the time is up. One more thing to consider is the degree to which you want to control or limit what students see after completing a quiz. To view and adjust these settings, click on the Submission Views tab. The default view is set to show students a confirmation message and to show them their overall score, but not any of the questions and answers. You can adjust the default view to permit students to see more information if you wish, but be careful not to choose the Show Question Answers option, as this will result in students being able to see all of the questions and all of the correct answers. To set time and date controls on a submission view, for example, to permit students to see the questions they've missed but only after the quiz is over and everyone has taken it, click on Add Additional View to set up a new view. For example, if this quiz is due on April 4th at 11:59 p.m., we could set this view so that as of April 5th at 8 a.m., all students could see the questions that they missed. To review, we've looked at a number of settings and recommended best practices for quiz security in Brightspace, including how to shuffle the order of your questions, To learn more about shuffling and about question pools, which offer an even greater level of quiz security, see the next video in this sequence, Building Secure Quizzes in Brightspace Part 2, Shuffling versus Question Pools.